Here we have a woman that's looking at her husband and knows he's got COVID, and this dude keeps going into the office. And ethically, she's like, I'm not feeling good about this. Should I even call the boss? If you have a problem going on in your life and you want to share it with us, hit us up at thebertshow.com.
Bert Show. I really need help, and I'm hoping y'all will give me some advice. Yesterday, my husband tested positive for COVID. He'd been exposed by a friend of his. He insisted he was fine because he felt nothing. But since we had to go to my parents' house to celebrate my grandma's birthday, I insisted that he take a COVID test after his exposure before being around my 90 and 92-year-old grandparents. That's smart. Mm-hmm. Luckily, we were able to find a CVS that had some in stock. He took the test while still annoyed because he felt just fine.
Don't you hate people like that?
Sure enough, it came back positive. He was willing to skip my grandma's party and didn't fight me at all on that. However, I told him that he needed to stay home from work until he was all better and he tests negative. He said, absolutely not. He gets paid hourly and he insists that we can't afford to lose a single day of pay. I told him that his employer would likely pay for him to be out so that he can protect others. He says it doesn't work like that there. If he's not working, he's not getting paid. He barely has any symptoms, but still, he has COVID, and he works around a lot of people. I can't help but think of all the people he's coming in contact with. Even if they turn out fine, he is potentially putting families at harm. He's a stubborn man, and I thought about calling his supervisor. But if I do that, he'll probably get fired. He thought COVID has been overblown since the beginning. Now he says this new variant is even more insignificant. He thinks it's nothing worse than a common cold that people give each other every other year. What can I say to him to make him stay home? What should I do? Should I call his boss?
I really wish we could lose this sentence that we hear over and over and over again, thinking that COVID has been overblown since the beginning, especially since you're sitting on a show who has family members that have passed away from COVID. So I wish we would just eliminate that phrase altogether. That's my first thought. Secondly, I think this is probably going on around America more than we're publicly talking about.
And the fact that it's her husband, I see her torn with loyalty to her husband because she doesn't want him to lose her job, but also she's a caring, empathetic individual that doesn't want him spreading COVID. So if I'm placing her, if I'm in her position, and thank God I'm not, because my husband and I are on the same page about this, I would be like, either you stay home or I'm telling your supervisor you have COVID. It's your choice.
Could you really do that? Could you really make that call?
I want to say, yeah, I really do. It's that big of a deal.
1-855-BERT Show. I think we're probably all going to be on the same page here, and I'm really trying to make sure that you guys that have different views are being represented. So if you want to call now, 1-855-BERT Show. Davi, what would you do in a case like this?
The other day, I had zero qualms with the chick like tattling on her coworker that was going to Disney after pretending to take the 10-day vacation, and that's because she said she had COVID, was getting 10 days off and going to Disney about it. And that's like stealing from your employer. Like that's 10 days paid vacation when you're pretending to have COVID. And I was like, that's wrong. Definitely tattle on her. Now I don't like husband and wife. I don't know why. I'm like, I don't want her to tell the supervisor. Like, I feel like that's a really big deal, but I feel like as a wife, she should be able to like assert her, wrath a little bit more at home for him to respect that. I don't know, like, hold your naughty bits ransom until he stays home. Can you use that?
Use your power. Your leverage.
I don't want her to get him fired, but I would love it if she bought like a chastity belt off Amazon and then just didn't let him have nothing until he was staying home and better.
That may be just as much a punishment for her as it is for him. So we don't know their situation. Mo?
I would probably try to continue to talk to him, try to continue to wear him down any way that I can, even though it sounds like he's probably not going to change much. But I don't know that I would call his supervisor. If anything, I would really ask myself, is this the kind of man that I would want to deal with in the future? But I wouldn't tell on him.
Cassandra, what would you like to say?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes. Hi. My sister-in-law felt the same way, that it was a common cold. She had been exposed to COVID before. She died last Wednesday night. She only had COVID for 3 days, and she died from COVID myocarditis.
I'm so
So
sorry.
he can say it's a simple cold, but it's not worth your life or anyone else's.
Yeah, once again, I think that's just got to be a phrase that we eliminate, man. When people say, I think it's just been the same as the common cold. It's not. And again, you don't know who you're talking to. And when you're talking to a show like this that has literally lost family members that we were very close to from COVID, it's just really disrespectful. Really disrespectful.
I think we all second that.
I think it's one of those things where you have that thought, but actually making that call when you know that now the family might not have any cash, he may lose his job if you do that. I think the only thing you really can do is continue to hound him and go, come on, man, and try to play to his conscience.
But I mean, they say when you test positive now, 5 days. Some companies are instituting 10 days. It's like time is of an issue here. That's the problem. Like you can hound him, but if he goes to work today, if he goes to work tomorrow, it's pointless. Like it's pointless to continue. It's pointless to hound him because he's gone and he's exposed to other people. And just because you're asymptomatic doesn't mean you're not still shedding cells and can be exposing people.
Yep.
And at least I hope to God he's wearing a mask and a high quality one at that. If he's testing positive,
I
to
just think at
form
this
some sort of barrier.
I really just think at this point, like, most people know what they believe they know about COVID, so trying to explain or trying to convince anybody of anything almost is like complete waste of time, because everybody is so stuck in their opinions at this point, one way or another. The science, the politics, whatever you want to call it.
It feels like a lose-lose for her regardless, because even if she does go and tell the supervisor, it's going to create more problems in the end than we have right now. So it's, I don't know how she wins in this.
The Bert Show.